There we are. It's 16:05 and 14 seconds. Oh, we are too late. Sorry for that. It's day number 13 of the 16:05 Content Festival. Welcome. I'm Jente Kater from Voicebooking. 16:05, it's a new festival. While we were in lockdown, we thought, let's do something inspiring. And here we are with 21 webinars in a row. Before we start, I'm the founder of Voicebooking. I'm a voice actor myself, and you will hear me stutter every now and then. So if this webinar takes a bit too long, sorry, it's just me. Tomorrow we have a music usage webinar with our friends of Epidemic Sound. And next Monday, it's all about character creation with voice coach Stefan Kornikar. And on Tuesday, our very own Gijs Friese will attend, and he will tell you inside secrets of the audio design craft. For today's session, we wanted to do something special about social media. It's that part of marketing which keeps changing and changing. And how do you reach your audience on social media? And then we thought, what is the most easy audience to reach on social media? And that would be you, or at least people who are a bit like you. For example, I'm a voice actor. Thinking about what voice actors love, that's easy for me. Or at least it's not that tough as reaching out to people who I only know from looking at them and reading about them. Then the hardest audience, who's that? For me, women. For women, maybe men. Now, we thought the most hardest audience to reach is that part of the nation where almost no books are being written about, simply because they write history at the moment. Yes, Gen Z, the youth. And that's why we asked Holland's thought leader on youth marketing, Go Spooky, to share their secrets on social media. If you have any questions during this session, just ask them via question and answer within Zoom. And I see there are a lot of people already chatting within Zoom. Thanks for that. That's great. And if you are here via Facebook, just ask them beneath the stream. Day 13 of the 16:05 Content Festival, webinar number 13. Here's Kevin DeWitt of Go Spooky. Enjoy.
Yes, thank you, Jente, for the great introduction. I'm Kevin from Go Spooky, and I'm going to tell you today a bit more about social media strategy. So let me share my screen. Yes, so good afternoon, everyone. In this webinar, I'm going to tell you something about social media strategy. But first, a short introduction. I'm Kevin DeWitt, client lead at Go Spooky, and I'm working on the Coca-Cola and Toto account. And last November, I joined Go Spooky, so a bit of a short time. And before that, I was working for 4 years at Spotify as an account director. And at Spotify, we worked a lot with voice booking, for example, for the recording of audio spots for our clients. And one of the things I've set up there were 3D audio workshops. For example, for the Star Wars release in December. But let me talk a bit more about Go Spooky. I'm not sure if everyone knows who we are, what we're doing. So let me start with that. And Go Spooky was founded a few years ago by Tim and Liam, two young guys who started offering Snapchat advertising to brands in the Netherlands even before Snapchat was based here. So they were the first one in the Netherlands, even when Snapchat didn't have an office right here. And last year we grew from 4 people to 30, and one of the key drivers was the first was winning the pitch of Coca-Cola, but another driver was TikTok, which I'm going to tell you more about later on. And if I look at Go Spooky, we really focus on innovation, and our key mission, you can see it on the screen, is to reimagine storytelling for social. And I'm going to tell you how we're doing that. So for us, it always starts with attention. And why? Actually, because marketing hasn't changed that much over the last 100 years. So you always need to have the attention of your audience in order to tell them a story. However, the big challenge that a lot of marketeers have these days is capturing that attention, since it's split into so many devices, so many apps, that it's hard to, okay, where is the attention and how can we grab this as a brand? So it always starts with the attention of the audience, and a good example of that, who's doing a great job with this, is Nike. They've been telling a really consistent story for such a long time. Also, I already told that we really focus on innovation and new stuff, and you might have seen a lot of new stuff coming by in the news from us, but what's always for us important to keep in mind is that we always start from the behavior and not from the technology, because if we use a new technology and no one embraces it, what's the point of getting there as a brand? So a good example of that is AR, augmented reality. That's becoming more and more interesting right now for brands. Now it's embraced by more people. So what we always also see is that platform culture is key. So there's a lot of social media platforms in the world right now. And the culture is really different per platform. So I'm gonna run you through an overview of different social media platforms and explain a bit more about the culture that is living on the platform, but also the audience. So you see Instagram at this moment. Instagram is really about presenting yourself, a really polished picture about everyone's perfect life. And their core audience is millennials, as you can see. And there are 4 million daily active users at this moment. Then if we look at Snapchat, so Snapchat is more about communication with close friends. So you can compare this the best with with WhatsApp. Because it's really one-on-one communication what is existing right there, and what it's mostly used is really to talk to your close friends in a fun and visual way. So if you lay this next to Instagram, you already see that the core audience is a little bit younger compared to Instagram. Then we see on the right, we see TikTok. So TikTok is really to share creativity. So to visually express yourself by using fun videos. So it's a new platform coming from China. And it has like about 800 users worldwide. So it's really big worldwide. And it used to be called Musical.ly in Europe, but they've taken over. And TikTok is already really big in the Netherlands as well. So the core audience is really Gen Z, so 13 to 24 years old. And they already have like 3.5 million daily active users at this moment. Then YouTube. YouTube can be seen as the new TV, so but without the limitations of TV. So it's always close because of the enormous mobile usage in the Netherlands. So their core audience is more 16 to 35 years old, and they have 4 million daily active users. Then WhatsApp. So I think everyone in this call is using WhatsApp. But if you compare it to the other social platforms, it's really the platform where you communicate with your parents and family, especially by the younger audience, the Gen Zs. They only use WhatsApp to communicate with their parents and family, and they really use Snapchat and all the other platforms to communicate with their friends. And then the last one, I'm not sure if everyone is familiar with this one, but Twitch. And Twitch is growing really fast. They're part of Amazon, and it's all about live gaming and broadcasting. So you can watch your favorite streamers, your favorite games, but there are a lot of things happening here as well. For example, in Germany, we see that Twitch has bought the rights for broadcasting Premier League matches and Champions League football games. So it's becoming sort of the replacement of a TV channel. But then more about TikTok. So I want to highlight some trends that we're seeing across the industry. And TikTok has been growing like massively, as you can see in the numbers. Some facts about TikTok. Well, at the moment, it's world's fastest growing social media platform. And we can see it based on the users that are growing, but also according to the app downloads that we're seeing across the globe. And with 800 million users, it's bigger than Snapchat and Twitter combined. So it's a really serious player to keep in mind for marketeers. Also that we're seeing that users spend twice as much time per session on TikTok compared to Instagram. So looking at the attention, you've twice the time per session that users are spending on the platform. And also TikTok is really driven by creativity and creators. And TikTok really gives you all the tools to encourage that creativity. Then another trend, so Snapchat, and what we're seeing is that Snapchat has always been like a front runner according to the innovation and new futures. And in this news message you see is that they released last week food and finger tracking and Snapchat Mini. So you really see within the whole industry that Snapchat is always the front runner, and other apps like Instagram are always following, for example, with Lenses. And the big misunderstanding about Snapchat is that it's only used by kids. So that is something that has been changed for the last few years. At this moment, they have 3 million daily active users and 80% is above 18 years old. So it's not only the kids that you can reach on Snapchat. But also, we're also seeing that Fortnite, a game that people can download for free on any device, has grown massively worldwide. And originally, this wasn't a really social game. People were shooting each other in this game, but it's more becoming a social platform. And we also see that more and more brand partnerships are coming to these platforms. For example, here you see that Travis Scott hosted a full concert within the game. So he released a new album, and they reached so many people by hosting a live concert within the game. So back to Go Spooky. So as I've told in the beginning, our mission is really to reimagine storytelling for social. And a big part of this is that we have a new way to create. So that means that we saw that traditional TV production models don't work in a mobile first world. You can't easily just take your TV spot and put it online on different social platforms or for online video. And actually that's the biggest mistake that we're seeing across the industry, is putting just your TV spot as an online video online. So the way how we always work is always starting with a story that we want to tell. So we start with the briefing and ask the brand always, okay, what kind of story do you want to tell to your audience? Then the second part is create a concept based on the relevant channels of the audience. So I already told that the culture and the audience of different is really different between different platforms. So we also see that you cannot easily create a video for example, Instagram and put it on Twitch, because there's a total different culture and a different audience on each channel. So we always create a concept that is based on the relevant channels of the audience, and then produce two tailor-made content that works in the context of each platform. But we also think that testing is really important. So to continually test, learn, and adapt new stuff really drives the effectiveness. So we always reserve a small part of the total budget to do something totally different that we think that could work, just to test and see if it works. And if you have questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A. So another thing that we're seeing is that we see a big shift to close communication. So we see an increasing amount of usage on Snapchat, but also on WhatsApp and Instagram. And I've got a small case of Tiki, how brands can tap into that. So I'm not sure if everyone in the audience knows what Tiki is, and the case is also in Dutch. But in short, Tiki is an app to ask for a payment. And what they really saw was that it's really awkward to ask after a week if the other person can still pay your Tiki. So what we've done, we saw that the communication really found place within WhatsApp. And we created a sticker pack that people can use, with stickers that people can use to ask in a fun way if the other can pay the Tiki. Also, a big trend is that we're seeing is that actually the new generation is living their lives through the camera. And what we mean with that is these days everyone has a camera on their phone, and it's used more than just saving a memory that it's used to be used for. So these days it's used for communication and utilities like measuring temperature. And what I mean with communication is that the Gen Zs, for example, when they're on their bike and on their way to a friend, we used to send, actually people from my age used to send a WhatsApp that I'm on my way. But this whole new generation sends a picture that they're on their bike and biking through their way. And the same goes for temperature. People don't use their weather app anymore. People use more the weather feature within the camera of the Snapchat to know how warm it is outside. Also, one of the big things happening here within the camera is augmented reality. And I've got a small case, or actually a really big case, of a Malibu campaign from us that launched last week. And it has captured a lot of attention. So Malibu came to us, and normally they host like the tropical parkour and these kind of Malibu games in real life, but that wasn't happening anymore with the whole COVID crisis. So they asked us to create a game within the Snapchat filter, and how we combined here is what we combined here is that we took out of home, so the abris that you saw. for people that are waiting for the tram or for the bus, that they can play the game while they're waiting. Another case that we have around AR is that is a case from Pathé, the cinemas, and this case won an award recently for Best AR at the Best Social Awards. And it really shows how we started with the audience and their behavior, and how we ended up with an AR lens that is used for job applications.
Hey, wil je nou ook heel graag werken bij Pathé? Kom dan nu auditie doen en swipe omhoog.
So in this case, you really see that we really started with the audience and their behavior. So Pathé wanted to hire teenagers and want them to apply for a job. And what we saw is that they used Snapchat so much, and writing an application letter is sort of old-fashioned for this younger audience. So we use the AR lens so people can take a short video to apply for a job at Pathé. And the results were so good. So it really worked out in a good way. Another insight that we're seeing is that Gen Z, so the teenagers, are the most creative generation ever. And we see this behavior across different platforms, but in special, we see it on TikTok, this new platform. So we're making content for TikTok for example, Albert Heijn in the beginning of this year. They always have the football plaatjes, so the soccer cards that you can collect. And we came up with a campaign that taps like in each different moment and phase that a teenager is when they're collecting those pictures.
Toma.
Never mind, mind.
Toma.
So another successful campaign on TikTok. But let's talk about the future. We see a lot of things happening now. And I want to finish this talk with a few things about stuff that we expect to happen in the future. So one of the things that we are expecting is that short video is the new prime time. So across different platforms, the mobile video consumption will grow and grow. And we also see that more and more production companies are jumping on this short video train to start producing short video content by themselves. So we see the big stars in this world, like the production agencies in Hollywood, are producing short form video at this moment, but also more and more brands will start to producing these kind of stuff that they can spread on TikTok or Snapchat or Instagram TV. But we expect that this is really the new prime time. And another thing that we are expecting is that augmented reality will become mainstream. So augmented reality, the last few years, it was really like an upcoming thing. But nowadays we really expect that it's becoming mainstream or already is mainstream. And this is really driven by Instagram. So it's still important to know that Snapchat will stay the leader according to innovative filters, and but other platforms will definitely follow if they see that something is working. So thanks for your attention. Hope you enjoyed it. And now is the time for some questions. Let me stop my screen sharing.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, there I am. Thank you, Max. Max is on the other side of the glass. Thanks, Kevin. Go Spooky. So you do many prize-winning things, and I was wondering if you're targeting such young people, how old is the oldest person within your company?
The oldest person in our company. That's a hard question because we have been growing the last year with so many people. But I think the oldest one working here is 36. And to add on that, our founders are even younger than 25.
Yeah.
So a lot of young people here.
Yeah. But what if you're brilliant, you're 45, will you ever get hired within Go Spooky, you think?
Definitely, yeah. We don't really look for people that are young. We always look for people that have the talent to do the job. We're always looking for the best person who fits the role, and that could be 65, that could be 20. It doesn't matter to us.
I see Darren Altman over here. He's I think he's my age. He says, I'm on TikTok. There are some incredible artists on there, musicians, singers, chefs, talented people. It's not just about silly dances. Do you have great examples of that?
Great
of
examples?
Silly dances, yeah.
Of silly dances, yeah, a lot.
No, of just the other things. What you think is brilliant over there?
On TikTok, yeah. So TikTok is really driven by creativity. So the app really gives everyone the tools to be, to really be creative. And it all started with music and dances on there. But a lot of great things that are happening there are challenges or people who create like ASMR, for example, that really in a different way than just
those cracky things.
Yeah, those cracky things. One thing that we're seeing happening for rituals, for example, is that ASMR is really fitting the brand and the platform.
What does rituals do with ASMR?
So you have those holy colors line, so the teenager line, and they have sort of shampoos that are really bubbling outside of the bottle.
Okay.
But you definitely have to look on the TikTok channel on TikTok to see how it looks like.
Okay, so if I understand it right, if Rituals, which is here in Holland, is the big brand. Sorry guys, I'm hearing myself twice. Please do something about that. I don't know if the audience hears me twice. So no, it's not me. I think. Yeah. Okay. It's done. All right. So if you think of Rituals is a big brand here in the Netherlands. I don't know if it's an international one. You know that? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And you are promoting yourself with those. How would you say it respectfully? Annoying sounds. I don't think every brand manager will thought, okay, let's do that within Rituals.
No, so for every brand, TikTok is really about testing it. It's a new platform. It's really it's really new for a lot of brands. So it's also takes some courage to jump onto that platform. But it's also really about testing. So what we do with all our clients who are on TikTok, we see that, okay, we need to test first to see what's working in order to continue what's fitting the brand, but also fitting the platform.
Yeah.
So that could be ASMR, but it could also be like hosting a challenge or competing in a challenge,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I saw my daughter. She's following that dancer, that woman with. I think she has 30 million followers or something, and her sister has 8 million, and her mother has 12 million or something like that. You know what I mean? Or
I'm not sure.
It's a girl from, I think, 16 years old. She's from the United States. She's really big, 30 million followers. And sometimes I think, okay, but how to make money then? Just
How to make money, yeah. So in the Netherlands, there isn't even advertising live yet. So in other countries, you can easily use the platform for video advertising. So in the Netherlands, it's mainly used to create brand awareness. So you can easily, with one video and without followers, for example, that we saw with JBL, is that you can easily get a lot of reach without any media budget. So the first video of JBL without followers gained like 2.3 million views without any media budget. So it's really efficient to gain a brand awareness. And in China, and I expect that to happen here as well, is e-commerce is really upcoming. So in China, you can sell products within the video. So what we see over there is that the creators, the sort of influencers of the platform, they go live in a video, and they go live for about maybe 4 hours. And in that video, they say, for example, okay, I've got this glass, and you, by tapping here, you can buy it, and you can buy it immediately. So e-commerce is something that is also coming up here. But in that way, you can sell products as well.
We are creating brand awareness, and you are a small company, or even you are a freelancer. Let's assume you are a sports instructor. What should you advise such people?
Yeah, so you always need to find out, okay, who am I? Who do I want to be on for example, on TikTok? And how do I represent myself? And along the way, you see content that you create that works or not works, and you continue with the stuff that works. And if you're like a sports instructor, I would really advise, like, okay, what can we do with workouts? Can we maybe post a daily challenge for people on the platform that people can compete, or just advice on certain exercises. So it really depends on the brand, what's working. So you always have to look, okay, what fits on the platform and what fits for the brand.
Yeah. Let's assume I'm voicebooking.com, and we think, okay, we should do something on TikTok or on Instagram, whatever. Let's assume we should do something there. What would you say? How many times should you take to think, okay, let's evaluate now, to go on, or maybe just stop?
With the testing period, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes. So as a voice booking, I would really first start with the audience. Like, okay, who is our audience? And really describe your audience. And then have a look, like, okay, which platform are they using? So for voice booking, it might be Facebook and Instagram. And then you really look, okay, what is the behavior of our audience on that platform, and how can we tap into that? And for testing, testing can take maybe a week, where you see like some stuff happening that is going through the roof in terms of results. But it can also take a month. It really depends how fast you can see if things are working or not. And sometimes you have been testing for 2 months, 3 months, maybe half a year, and then discover what works for your brand. But it's really valuable to discover that point that is working.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. It's a bit black and white. black or white question. In your presentation, you said a short video is going to be the next new prime time. And I assume when you are a brand, it's not about making one movie. It's making a good series of movies, I think, isn't it? Or it's just one, or
Could be. So it's really a shift that we see across the industry. It's like we see that short video is becoming more and more important. And what was launched the beginning of this year, just in the USA, is a platform like Quibi. And Quibi is sort of the short form video Netflix. It has been founded by I think someone who was really high in the industry in Hollywood. And what they have is like they have a series of episodes of max 10 minutes. So they really focus on that kind of content. And it's more that we see that short video content is becoming more and more important for people, that we shift in behavior there, that we think, okay, brands should think of short video, and that could be a video of 10 seconds or a minute. But short video is becoming more important.
Okay, and it's a bit black or white. Should you focus on quantity or quality?
For what you mean?
For example, doing one thing daily and go for the quantity, or thinking, no, I will do one really awesome piece every month. Just once a month.
That also really depends on the brand. Like for example, for Toto, we're posting about 4 posts per week. We see that that's a good balance for the brand, but it really depends on your goals. Like, do we need to come up with one content piece per day, or is once per month with a big campaign enough? It really depends on your goals that you want that you've set. But important to keep in mind is that you don't want to post because you want to post stuff. You really want to bring value to your audience, and especially with the Generation Z, it's really important that you don't push your content towards that audience. They will feel like it's really commercial driven, and that won't work for that target audience. So you really need to deliver some value for that audience.
Yeah. However, I think I understand what you're saying by you shouldn't push things to your audience. But on the other hand, when you are doing lots of things as a company, it surely will feel like it.
Absolutely. So what you're seeing on TikTok, for example, you see really subtle branding in the videos. You'll see it for rituals. You'll see it for Albert Heijn. You see really little branding, because if you put your logo really big on there, it won't work. They're really sensible for those kind of commercial messaging that it won't work. So with really subtle branding in there, but having like fun content, in that way you deliver value to the audience. But don't really shout out like, okay, this is a commercial message from this brand.
Let's go to some questions of our audience. If you have any questions, just ask them via the question and answer, or if you are via Facebook, just mention them in the mentions. Mention them in whatever. Robert Ravelli, he says, hey, you haven't mentioned Twitter. How about that? Why didn't you mention Twitter?
No, I think Twitter is really a good platform, but Twitter really feels like it is a good platform. I forgot to mention a lot of social platforms, but these are the most important ones, we think. And Twitter is more seen as sort of a news channel where you really can focus on what's happening in the news, really be on top of that. And if something happens at the other side of the world, you immediately immediately see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an important platform, but it's less. Yeah, we don't do a lot with Twitter at the moment. It's,
okay. Yeah. Okay, you guys are professionals in youth marketing, so LinkedIn isn't the real platform to go to. On the other hand, how about young professionals just starting off? Where would you reach them?
Absolutely. No. So actually, we do a lot of things also on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn also recently launched a stories, the stories possibility within their app. So the stories thing comes from Snapchat, went to Instagram where it went big, and now it's also live on LinkedIn and on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And I think LinkedIn is a great place for professionals and young professionals to reach them. It's really about how you call it? Yeah, it's really a professional network, I call it. So we create content for example, Tiki also on LinkedIn, because they want to show how Tiki can be used by.
Yeah, it's for the non Dutch viewers. It's a paying app.
Yeah.
Tiki.
So yeah. So for small businesses, like local businesses, MKB'ers, how we call it in Dutch, it's a really interesting platform. And Tiki recently launched like the possibility to pay with Tiki with delivery of food or delivery of your groceries. So we really create videos how Tiki can help these little companies. And it's a really informative platform in that way.
Okay. Yeah. David Wisniewski, he asks, how can you keep your social media audience interested if you only produce irregularly and do not always have something to post or share? So that's a really nice one. I think sometimes you want to post something, but you're not sure what you want to post. What would you recommend?
Good question. So I would never post something if you don't have a story to tell. But I think looking at your audience, and knowing what your audience likes to see from you is really key here. So you really have to look at like, okay, my audience is waiting for some personal videos about how I wake up in the morning, or how I go to work, or stuff like that. Or I want to share my opinion about something in the news. It really can go all the way. But I would really advise to not post because you want to post. But how a lot of agencies work is that they create content plannings. So in the beginning of the month, they create a planning, what they're going to tell the next month. And that really helps to get some structure in there, and post on a regular basis to your audience.
Michiel Stapo, he asked, is Facebook dead?
Good question. No, I don't think Facebook is dead. We just see that the audience is getting older, really compared to all those new players. And what we see is that people always use social media platforms. And that, but they might change one day to another to a new platform. So it's really important for social to keep in mind that your audience can switch in one day, for example, from Instagram to Snapchat. So it's really good, especially for your brand, to keep in mind, like, where is my audience? Did my audience yesterday to a new platform, and do I need to be there as a brand? So Facebook isn't dead at all. And yeah. If you look at those numbers, they're still such a big player. Facebook also owns not only Facebook, they also own Instagram and WhatsApp. So in total, that company isn't dead at all.
Yeah. Now, if you are a big brand, then you have the right budget to do something on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, etc. If you are a smaller brand, for example, you are an SME, um, and you are having drinks with somebody, and that person says, "Oh, Instagram, you should go on Instagram," and just one moment later, someone says, "TikTok, you should do something for there." Um, it makes I can understand that people will get a bit nervous. What should I do? Should I be everywhere, or what do you think?
It really depends on your goal. Like I already told that you really have to define where your audience is, and you might find that your audience is across different platforms.
Yeah.
But also important is that the content that you produce for example, on Instagram, is that it doesn't fit on other platforms. So you really need to start with, okay, where is my audience? On which platforms are they using? And if you have a smaller budget, you might just start with one. There's also a big difference between, okay, am I going to produce some content and see how it grows organically, or do I want to push it through with some media budget? Because that differs also per platform. TikTok, for example, is a good place to, if you want to reach those Gen Zs, but don't have any media budget, to easily gain a lot of reach in a short time with a good video. So if you have a good video that can go through the roof, on other platforms, it's harder to gain that kind of reach. But it really depends on the goals of your brand and also on the audience.
Yeah. Let's assume you are a freelancer. My friend Darren Altman, he says, I have a good following on social media, 7K on Twitter, 1K on Insta, 2.5K on YouTube, and 22K on TikTok. He dances, I think. But it seems like when I put videos or content out, it's like I'm shouting into traffic and often get little traction. What would you recommend?
You have a lot of reach, but you don't have a lot of engagement. Is that the question?
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah. So those are really two kind of goals that you're setting beforehand on a campaign. Like, do you want to reach a lot of people? That's mainly with an awareness goal. Like, I want to grow my awareness. A more deeper goal is to really engage with your audience, and engagement could be a reaction, or that could be a like, or stuff like that. So that's also a good indicator of how good your content is rated, for example. So if you want to create more engagement, you have to come up with more engaging formats, and that could be like asking a question to your audience, or ask it with a poll. But you have on Instagram, you have all kinds of functionalities that can help you to drive that engagement. And back in the days when there wasn't like any of there weren't any of these kind of functionalities, people just put like the question in their text behind in their post. But nowadays you have like so many tools to get more engagement from your audience. And the question is, what kind of engagement do you want? Do you want like to post something fun where you get a lot of likes for, or do you want to get some questions answered? Like really start with the goal of your brand, and look for the options that you have.
Yeah. So on the one hand, try to figure out what works and ask questions, etc., etc. And on the other hand, and I think many people forget that, you should react to posts of other people.
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
Like and comment on other ones.
And that you can create like engaging formats on the platform, and asking questions, or come up with a puzzle, or come up with a video. You can try different stuff and what works for your audience, and see what works. So I really recommend to start testing different kind of content to see what's working for your brand.
Yeah.
And also, if you want to have a really engaged community, you have to start communicating back. So
Yeah.
if someone reacts like, okay, hey, I like your video, or I like your post, really tap into that conversation,
Yeah.
and react on that.
Yeah, I understand. On LinkedIn, we tried out blogs. We tried out blogs from our own site on LinkedIn, which worked better than the blogs on LinkedIn. That was really strange. We tried infographics, and then we started posting one or two videos, and it was like, bam! This is it. This is what works for us. So yes, I understand. Irada Delsink, I hope I pronounce your name right. She said, "What would be your number one social media use tip for a voice actor? So for a freelancer."
I think if you look at a voice actor, it's really important that people know you, but also know what you can do, what you can be, sort of, like in what kind of way people can use you. So do you mainly do commercials, or do you like voiceovers, or like all kinds of stuff? Really represent yourself, and really come up with examples how you can help other people. I can imagine if that it's sometimes for brands, if they need a voiceover, they just pick and choose from a big list what's fitting the best, or you get casted. But to really show off who you are, what you do, and how you're different from other voice actors, that really helps. And you need to communicate that in some way. So that could be an example, it could be a short video, it could be like, you can do it in different ways, but you really have to show off like what you can do and how you're different from others.
Here's a question from Catherine Todd Weber. She says, very interesting webinar, Kevin. You mentioned Twitch. Twitch is all about video games. If you as a brand have got nothing to do with games, should you advertise on Twitch then, or not?
Well, it really depends. You see, like it's a growing platform, and Twitch isn't. It's like originally it's live gaming, but I mentioned the example that they bought for example all the rights for the football games, the Champions League. So in that way, they're sort of a replacement for maybe RTL, who has the rights to broadcast that. So it's becoming more and more a live broadcasting platform, and of course, gaming. You're jumping into such in this gaming culture. But if your audience is there and is using the platform in a good way, and you find a way to bring some value in that context, that could be really interesting. And we've been thinking about an example for a soda drink, where they thought like, okay, how funny would it be if we see that maybe a gamer has been gaming for 4 hours and really is dehydrated. That's really the point where you can sort of advertise with a water brand or a soda brand, or really tap into that context of the platform.
Searching for the right angle.
Right angle, and context is key.
Julius Johan, he asks, what platform offers the best bang for buck?
I'm sorry?
What platform offers the best bang for buck? So you want a maximum exposure. What will be the best platform, you think?
I think if your audience is there, TikTok is a platform where your content can go like through the roof without any media budget and without any big production budgets. So TikTok is a really rough platform. It's not a polished platform like Instagram, where you show the perfect world and It's more of the raw version and be creative with it. And with TikTok, it also doesn't matter if you have a lot of followers, actually, because there's a really strong algorithm behind it, where it serves videos to people that are scoring really well. So if they see that a video has been watched fully a lot more than video B, they will push it through to other people, actually. And what we saw with like the JBL example, we had a video, the first video that we posted without any followers, with a little production cost, goes skyrocket, and we reached like more than 2 million people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So and it's also, if you look at those new platforms, it always takes a while until the big brands go there. So in the beginning, that might have been like a few years ago, that might have been Snapchat. And if there aren't a lot of brands advertising there, there's a high how you call it, they offer a lot of ad space, but the question by big brands is less. So it's cheaper to advertise on those platforms compared to others. When
we started with our LinkedIn videos, it was in 2018. I think it was in the month of February 2018. And then the GDPR rules hit off at May 28, I think. Yes. So we thought, okay, many companies will have to stop with emailing, so they will focus on, for example, LinkedIn. And we saw that it was within 1 year, the views went like this. It's much crowdier there now on LinkedIn. Yeah. Let's wait for some more questions. If you have any questions, this is your last chance. Via the question and answer within Zoom or via Facebook. Guys, I haven't checked Facebook out. No comments? Okay. Tomorrow, there's a webinar with Julia Weitz of Epidemic Sound. She's going to dive into stock music, and she will have those insider tips of stock music. Then voice actor and voice coach Stefan Konikar. He's a very nice and highly talented French and neutral English voice actor from London. Yeah, he's from France, but he lives in London for 150 years now. He's going to talk about how to build a character for animations. Then our next webinar in English will be sound design for video producers. That will be next Wednesday. And for all the voices who are watching now, this is really interesting. But not only for voices, but because I also think if you are a father or a mother of some a small child, and every evening you are reading a Harry Potter book or something like that, then this is the one. At June 26, NaNoNango with how to narrate audiobooks. That's going to be really good. Okay, are there new questions in? No, there aren't. Okay, thank you, Kevin. It was really interesting. If people have direct answers, direct questions for you, how can they reach you?
Through social media, of course. No, they can find me on Instagram and send a direct message. So my name on Instagram is Kevin de Wit.
Yes.
If they have any questions, please reach out through direct message.
Okay. If they are above 70 and they haven't heard of Instagram, do you have an email address?
Yes, kevin@gospooky.com.
Okay. Thanks very much, Kevin. And thanks for watching all. Bye.
Yes. Thank you.